Director, the first time you saw Donald Trump's name was in the Epstein files. Did you close the files or keep reading?
I have reviewed not the entirety of the files, so
you haven't reviewed all of the Epstein files?
Personally, no.
You're the director of the FBI. This is the largest sex trafficking case the FBI has ever been a part of. Buck stops at the top, and your testimony today is you have not reviewed all the files. The question is simple. Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files? Yes or no?
Why don't you try spelling it out?
Yes or no, Director?
Use the alphabet.
Yes or no?
No, A, B, C,
Director,
D, E, F.
It sounds like you don't want to tell us. Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name was in the Epstein files? You have not answered it, and we will take your evasiveness as a consciousness of guilt.
Kash Patel is facing what may be the biggest disaster of his career. The man who presented himself as the one determined to dismantle the so-called deep state and finally expose the Epstein files with complete transparency has now been publicly exposed in front of the entire country.
On day one, roll out the black book. And not just that. On day one, roll out all of the text messaging communications we were told were deleted.
As FBI Director, Patel has ultimate authority over what is considered the largest sex trafficking investigation in U.S. history. Yet when questioned publicly and under oath, he acknowledged that he had never thoroughly reviewed the highly sensitive Epstein files himself. Those records involve more than 1,000 victims, extensive sealed evidence, and the names of some of Washington's most influential figures. Despite the gravity of the case, the nation's top law enforcement official admitted he hadn't examined the full record. Meanwhile, survivors continue to live with the lasting trauma of their experiences, while Patel appeared to be focused on protecting someone he viewed as far more significant.
Now you see why. Because he is just an arrogant, incompetent director and doesn't make any of us safer when that's the chief, charge of what he's supposed to be doing.
So what was Patel actually spending his time on instead? We'll come back to that in a moment. But here's the most troubling question of all. If the FBI director isn't personally reviewing these files, then who is deciding what gets made public and what remains hidden indefinitely? Someone is making those decisions. And if it isn't Patel, that possibility may be even more alarming than if it were. His performance during today's hearing raised deeply unsettling questions. What is he so determined to keep out of view? More importantly, who is he really trying to protect? Because what unfolds next in this hearing makes the situation even more dramatic.
You said you don't know the number of times Trump's name appears in the files, so it could at least be 1,000 times. Is that right?
The number is a total misleading factor. We have not released anyone's name in the Epstein files that has not been credible.
Director, could it at least be 1,000 times?
We have released every piece of legally permissible information.
Okay,
you can characterize the numbers however you want it.
You're claiming my time, Director. It sounds like if you don't know the number, it could at least be 1,000 times.
It's not. It's not.
Is it at least 500 times?
No.
Is it at least 100 times?
No.
Then what's the number?
I don't know the number, but it's not that.
Do you think it might be your job to know the number?
My job is to provide for the safety and security of this country.
Take a moment to think through what just happened, because this may rank among the weakest cross-examination performances ever delivered by a senior law enforcement official. Swalwell didn't make any extreme accusations. Instead, he asked Patel to reject a series of specific estimates. 1,000 times? No. 500 times? No. 100 times? No. Patel dismissed every figure with confidence, but the moment he was asked for the actual number, the one an FBI director would be expected to know, he suddenly claimed he had no idea. Those two positions simply don't fit together. You can't firmly reject numbers like 500 while also insisting you have no knowledge of the real figure. Either he knows enough to rule out those estimates, meaning he has the facts, or he genuinely doesn't know, which means he had no basis to deny them so confidently. Instead, he appeared to choose the response that sounded most convincing in the moment, hoping no one would catch the inconsistency. Someone did. This is the same man who built his reputation on promises of exposing hidden truths and revealing what he claimed the establishment wanted to keep secret. Yet when confronted with the biggest controversy of his career, his answer became, "I don't know, and I don't need to." As this story unfolds, the extent of that apparent lack of accountability becomes even more concerning.
Director, the first time you saw Donald Trump's name was in the Epstein files. Did you close the files or keep reading?
I have reviewed not the entirety of the files, so I have.
You haven't reviewed all of the Epstein files?
Personally, no.
You're the director of the FBI. This is the largest sex trafficking case the FBI has ever been a part of. Buck stops at the top, and your testimony today is you have not reviewed all the files.
What I've been doing is been busy providing the safest country this country has seen in modern U.S. history in historic speed, because the men and women of the FBI are given the resources to reduce the homicide rate, to reduce the drug trafficking rate, to reduce the amount of children that are being trafficked and the number of pedophiles.
It sounds like those children being trafficked would appreciate the director reviewing the files. You said you don't know the number of times Trump's name appears in the files, so it could at least be 1,000 times. Is that right?
The number is a total misleading factor. We have not released anyone's name in the Epstein files that has not been credible.
Director, could it at least be 1,000 times?
We have released every piece of legally permissible information.
Okay,
you can characterize the numbers however you want.
Different ways Kash Patel attempted to avoid answering one simple question. First, he went after Swalwell personally, accusing him of trying to generate fundraising headlines. Second, he responded to a question that was never asked, insisting that the president was not implicated. Third, when asked whether he had spoken with Trump about the files, he gave a clear and direct answer. But the moment the focus shifted to Attorney General Pam Bondi, his confidence appeared to disappear. 4 separate times, Swalwell asked the same straightforward question: did you tell Pam Bondi that Donald Trump's name appears in the Epstein files, yes or no? 4 separate times, Patel avoided giving a direct answer. Instead, he launched into broad explanations about multiple conversations and unrelated details. When pressed once again, the nation's top law enforcement official even resorted to sarcasm, telling a sitting member of Congress to use the alphabet. That abrupt contrast, clear and composed on one topic, then evasive and unfocused on the next, is the kind of behavioral shift investigators often look for during questioning. It points directly to the issue the witness seems most reluctant to address. This is the same Kash Patel who built his public image by criticizing others for a lack of transparency and promising to reveal every secret he claimed the establishment wanted hidden. Yet when the scrutiny was directed at him, he couldn't deliver a simple yes or no response. His testimony wasn't merely evasive. It came across as deeply uncomfortable. The man who pledged to dismantle the so-called deep state now appeared to rely on the very tactics he once condemned to avoid accountability. The question remains, what is he so determined to keep from the public? With each exchange, that answer seems increasingly difficult to ignore.
So you can go out to the sticks and get your 20-second hit in your fundraising article. And keep going, reclaiming your time, because the people of California are being underserved by your representation.
If the president is not implicated, why not release everything that involves him?
We have released everything, the president and anyone else's side, that is credible and lawfully be able to be released. Your fixation on this matter and baseless accusations that I'm hiding child pedophiles is disgusting. Anyone that says that needs to look at the stats alone and go back to the state of California, who's receiving the biggest surge in FBI resources through my redeployment, because the cities of Los Angeles, San Diego, and San Francisco need it.
Director, remembering your oath to tell the truth, did you ever tell Donald Trump his name is in the files?
I have never spoken to President Trump about the Epstein files.
Did you ever tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
The Attorney General and I have had numerous discussions about the entirety of the Epstein files and the reviews conducted by our team.
Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
And we have released where President Trump's name is in the Attorney's file. It's a simple question.
Did you tell the Attorney General that the President's name is in the Epstein files?
During many conversations that the Attorney General and I have had on the matter of Epstein, we have reviewed.
The question is simple.
Who
did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files? Yes or no?
Why don't you try spelling it out?
Yes or no, Director?
Use the alphabet.
Yes or no?
No? A, B, C,
Director,
D, E, F?
it sounds like you don't want to tell us. Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name was in the Epstein files?
Why don't you try serving your constituency by focusing on reducing violent crime in this country and the number of pedophiles that are legally harbored in your sanctuary cities in California? I'll work with you on that.
Regular order, Mr. Chairman.
I'm
the gentleman from California.
Second, and this is the moment that may define Kash Patel's career for years to come, He authored a book that labeled sitting members of Congress, including lawmakers on the very committee responsible for overseeing him, as government gangsters. He then became the person with the authority to launch investigations involving those same individuals. So when he was asked directly, on the record, whether he would recuse himself from such matters, his answer was a firm no. He didn't say he would consider it. He didn't say he would seek guidance from ethics counsel. He simply said no. Under oath, the FBI director confirmed that he intends to keep investigative authority over the very lawmakers responsible for holding him accountable. That is far more than a bureaucratic detail. It means the nation's highest-ranking law enforcement official told the legislative branch that he sees no conflict in maintaining investigative power over the people charged with overseeing his conduct. Patel entered that hearing as the most powerful law enforcement official in America.
Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
Question has been asked and answered.
You have not answered it, and we will take your evasiveness as a consciousness of guilt. Director, did Donald Trump ever say to you, just find and release the entire truth? Don't worry if I'm in it?
The instructions from the administration were to release all credible information, and we have done that.
Did Donald Trump ever provide information about Jeffrey Epstein as an informant?
Donald Trump has not been, and I can only speak for the FBI, an informant of the FBI.
So, Director, you've played this cute shell game where you say you can't release everything because the court has said that it legally is not allowed to be released. But the court calls bullshit. Judge Richard Berman said that when you went to the court, quote, information contained in the Epstein grand jury transcripts pales in comparison to Epstein investigation information and materials in the hands of the Department of Justice. So let's move on, Director. You wrote a book called Government Gangsters. You identified 20 individuals in that book. You put me on that list, at the top of the list. Thank you. My children find it flattering. 20 of those individuals have been investigated or have had adverse actions. Director, considering that you have identified these people as, quote, government gangsters, will you recuse yourself from making any investigation decisions about these individuals?
Anyone that has been terminated at the FBI has been done
No, the question
they failed
again,
to meet the muster in their
Director,
constitutional
I will
obligation.
work on the
No.
audio-visual capabilities.
I'm going to
of
borrow
insurance. I
your
don't think you can hear
terminology
me.
and call
I'm
bullshit
reclaiming my
on your
time.
entire career in
I'm
Congress.
reclaiming my
It
time,
has been
Director.
a disgrace to the American
Director, I'm
people.
reclaiming my
You
time.
can reclaim your
No, you
time all
recuse
you
yourself.
want.
Mr.
Try
Chairman,
and
you're going to
protect
allow a
the
witness to
citizens
speak
of
this
California.
way? Mr. Chairman, would you give...
Recuse yourself, Director.
The gentleman has no time.
Mr. Chairman, would you
Mr.
admonish the
Chairman,
witness not to insult members?
Gentleman has no time.
Mr. Chairman,
The
just
committee will remember.
quick point of order. Could the gentleman be extended an additional 20 seconds to complete his thoughts since the witness decided to interrupt him continuously?
And the witness will be able to respond if he wants. We'll make sure he
Thank
has
you.
time to do that.
My question
We'll
is,
continue.
will you, Director, recuse yourself, yes or no, from investigating or making decisions about the 60 individuals, including myself, that you identified as government gangsters? Yes or no?
Time of the gentleman has expired. The witness may respond if he would like.
And the answer was no, as I heard.
He left it as someone who struggled to answer even the most basic questions about the most significant case under his authority. He insisted that his team had carefully reviewed the Epstein files, only to later acknowledge that he had not personally done so. He refused to provide a number regarding references to Trump's name while confidently dismissing every larger figure presented to him. Asked 4 separate times whether he had told Attorney General Pam Bondi that Donald Trump's name appeared in the files, he never gave a direct yes or no answer.
And he repeatedly lied to everyone who asked about it, about what could be turned over right now in the Epstein files.
He played this shell game where he said, well, we want everything released. So I went to the court and asked the court to release everything. And so that's where I read to him the court's opinion, where the Judge Brennan, actually said, no, what we as a court has, the judge says, pales in comparison to what the Department of Justice has. The court is prohibited from releasing witness testimony to the grand jury. That's it. But if the Department of Justice separately owns that witness testimony in the form of witness interviews, witness statements, witness videotapes, and of course, any evidence collected through a search warrant, that's under the custody of the Department of Justice. And the judge said Kash Patel can release that. We can deduce by the fact that he won't release it and he won't tell us how many times Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files, that he's afraid to do it because he's afraid that it would anger Donald Trump.
I think we have a right to assume it's a very impressive number.
The man who built his reputation by attacking the so-called deep state now appears to be relying on the very machinery of institutional power to avoid straightforward questions. People with clear answers generally give them directly, and remember who ultimately bears the cost of that avoidance. More than 1,000 victims connected to Epstein's network are still waiting for accountability. That should have been the central focus of the entire hearing. Politically, the consequences may already be unfolding. When asked whether he still had confidence in Patel, President Trump spent roughly 30 seconds discussing Pam Bondi instead. Shifting the conversation like that is rarely without purpose. An FBI director who admits he hasn't personally reviewed the files. A number he refuses to state while narrowing the possibilities himself. A yes or no question avoided 4 different times. A judge's own remarks suggesting the public has not yet seen everything. And a flat refusal to step aside from investigations involving the very people responsible for overseeing him. Viewed together, these are not isolated moments from a difficult hearing. They form a broader pattern. Swalwell attempted to expose that pattern, but Patel never gave the clear answers needed to resolve it. If this hearing left you as frustrated as it left us, be sure to like the video, subscribe for in-depth breakdowns of every major hearing as soon as they happen, and let us know in the comments, should Kash Patel remain FBI director after this testimony?